love is something that is, it's not really understood. Some people confuse sexuality for love. It isn't. That may be something in which lovers partake. But sexuality is in and of itself is not love. In fact, many times it is exercised or perpetrated without love at all. When sexuality occurs between two people who really love each other, it can be a really ecstatic experience. In fact, it is somewhat like merging, it should be, this was what the goal was, to be a sort of a little experience of what is it like to merge with the universe. But you see, when humanity got a hold of it and found how to use it to punish people, something really changed. It really injured those second chakras. Those second chakras, remember, are longing for connection with the divine. And it plays out in sexual connection sometimes, but that's not all. A good open second chakra is always looking for the pleasure of other people. In other words, if it sees a little child playing with a toy that is just delighted, that chakra opens and flowers and grows. It's not sexual at all. It's about taking joy in the pleasure other people experience. It is that one Rumi poem, what was it? This one has intrigued so many people. Something about, after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, you owe me. Look what happens with a love like that. It lights the whole sky. And that, my dear friends, is what you're trying to find. Too many times people confuse the object of their love for love itself. You know, maybe someone loves ice cream. And when they start thinking about ice cream, something happens inside. It changes their inner chemistry, their hormonal balance. Certainly changes the way their serotonin levels, changes a lot of things. And all they're doing is thinking about ice cream. They haven't even eaten any yet. But the problem with that kind of love is as soon as you eat the ice cream, the thrill is gone. Serotonin levels go back to whatever normal is, you see. And this is the problem with most addictions, isn't it? It's in the thinking about them that something happens to the internal chemistry. And if it's a drug or alcohol is a little bit different. They do different things, of course. But if it is some kind of a drug, once the drug is taken, the person feels some kind of a high. It's different drug to drug. It's even different with the same drug, person to person. So there is no really flat line or bottom line of how this works. But without one's having some kind of a desire for it, the effect is not the same. Years ago, this is kind of funny. I don't think she'll mind my saying this was years ago when before Kathleen had a hip replacement. And but anyways, there was a medical marijuana had just come in. Now, she's never been a smoker, but somebody said, oh, you could get these patches. And so she did get some patches that we have to go through this whole rigmarole with big certificate. You don't have to do it anymore, but big certificate issued, so on. Well, she started putting the patches on and she didn't feel anything. Now, the interesting thing was that she went back and she talked to the vendor. She said, well, I put these on, but I really can't tell anything, because the vendor said, now you need to be very careful. If you put these on at night, because as she put one on at night so she could sleep, basically. She put it on her low back. And she said, if you put that on, you have to be very careful because you'll stumble and fall when you get out of bed. Kathleen said, you're crazy. I don't feel anything. Now, so the woman concluded that, well, you just don't have the CBD receptors. Well, of course, everybody has CBD receptors. Frankly, it's part of the human system. But there was no longing for, there might have been some longing for an absence of pain, but there was no longing for the drug. And so it was for a while kind of a non-starter, but then she found that she could go to sleep finally by wearing the patch, which she didn't wear during the day because she didn't need to sleep. But this, when you think about what all goes into it, so much of it is the mind state. And this is the part I think that often people miss. When you reach out for love, what are you reaching for? Many people think it's another person, or this person. In fact, was this is another one of Rumi's poems. He said, the minute I heard my first love story, I started looking for you, not knowing how blind that was. Lovers don't finally meet somewhere. They're in each other all along. Now, most people are not able to see that, even though they kind of go soft when they hear it. So you see, his experience of love was much deeper than most people even know about. That's why his works are so compelling. But so are the mystical writings in every other tradition. I'm not just trying to, a lot of you have Rumi's works, and so I'm just refer you back to them, and not necessarily to say that he is better or worse than anyone else. It doesn't work that way. But what you need to do is find, how can you put your mind in a different framework than normally arises in troubled times?